Yeah. Yes. Time to start. Why don't you go ahead and start? Why don't you open if you want to do prayer and pledge? Yeah, why don't you do the intro? I'll put the flag up. Welcome, pray, pledge. Hey, everybody. Well, it's kind of hard with this. Hey, if everyone can quiet down, we're going to get started. Everyone find a seat. We got clean up on aisle 4 there. I need to get some towels. Yeah. All right, just one thing, it's easy to speak in here with no microphone if everyone isn't whispering in the background. Just one thing. I'm Anthony Ellis. I want to just welcome you guys to his place / my home. This is a very important meeting. A lot of us were very close to what happened Saturday, and tragic, traumatic. So we really pushed to have this today just so we could come together, so we could process it together, we could talk about it together. But I just thank you all for coming. And I'd like to just open up in prayer. If we could all just bow our heads. Father, we thank you. We praise you. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for the air we breathe. We thank you for divine protection, Lord. Thank you for divine protection on Saturday, Lord, and just all of us that were close, Lord, and we that were all here to talk about it. Lord, thank you for protecting our president, Lord, and our prayers go out to all the families that were hurt, harmed, killed. The man from Butler, Bethel Park, Lord, our prayers are with them, Lord, and just we ask for just healing and peace with his family. Lord, and we ask you that you guide this meeting, that you speak through everyone who speaks. Lord, and we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. If we could all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag our nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. For those who don't know me, I'm Joel. I'm one of the leaders of Right to Liberty. This is great seeing a lot of new faces. For those who aren't aware of who the heck Right to Liberty is, we are a grassroots donation patriot group. Volunteers, people given talents and speakers on things like health, Second Amendment, patriotism, conservatism, the like. We meet normally every second and fourth Monday of every month, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at his place. This is an amazing place. This is Anthony's place and his. Hopefully I can talk louder. This is a unique kind of get together. Normally we have speakers that come in from all over, out of town, out of state, etc., giving their expertise. This is the first time we're really doing something where we're having all of us talk about our own experiences and what happened, or what we felt, or what we went through. This is a unique partnership too with Tony Shoup from Audit The Vote, Right to Liberty in his place. This is hopefully the beginning of more of these to come. Doing my best to manage the technology and live streaming and PA systems not working, et cetera, et cetera. So bear with us. Without our mics, we'll have to project better tonight. So hopefully that'll work. I also have Tony, who is here, as well as Vivian, my right-hand woman here for Right to Liberty. Rico, I do have word. Rico Elmore will be here at 7:30. So not too long, about half an hour, to talk about what he did and what he went through. But this is also a time for all of us as well. I will happily give up the floor to Vivian or to Tony, whoever would like to come up first, or to Barb. We'll go. Hey, Vivian, come ahead. You want to go ahead?
Vivian, walk to the podium, please. We have a mic on the podium so we can capture
We have to formalize this. I like informal. I'm so sorry.
your. I know.
Okay, all right. We'll work it. So my name is Vivian. I am one of the core group with Right to Liberty, Beaver County. This is a last minute get together. Our team has been texting over the weekend, and this morning we just realized that as the core team, we're still in shock and we're still trying to process. So we said we will just put it out there and invite the community to come and process. So I'm glad that you found out about it. I'm glad that you're here. I tried to go around and meet some of you. I know we do have a lot of people from Beaver County, but we've also started pulling in from Allegheny County back there. I don't know, is there somebody from Butler? Is there Butler County here?
Lawrence County.
Butler County, Lawrence County. All right, anywhere else? What am I missing? Westmoreland? Yeah. So I would say in 7 hours, we definitely were able to stretch a wide blanket to pull you in. So it's not about us talking again. Joel gave a good overview of what Right to Liberty Beaver County is. We are just a grassroots organization of concerned patriots who get together twice a month to talk about constitutional issues that we are passionate about. So tonight, we're going to kind of let God lead us into how this is going to go. We did not want to overplan it or over-organize it because we really want this time to be yours. So the only thing that I did is I attempted to draw out on a map, identifying where the bleachers were. From here at his place, we took a bus. Many of our people were in the bleachers. Hands out there, how many of you were in the bleachers? Yeah. So and the rest of you, were you pretty close to the, okay. So, you're feeling that energy. There are some, words and things that I'm sure we've seen out in media that either we agree with or disagree with. I was watching it online. I disagree with the label that they're using, saying chaos. I saw no chaos. No chaos. But I drew the map to show in context where the bleachers were, where the general audience was in section D. So as we talk about it, if you would like to stand up and give your perspective on what happened, what you saw, what you experienced, how you're feeling at this moment. The only thing I would ask that you do is identify your name, where you're from, and first name is fine. Your name and where you're from, and where were you in the location so that we can get an idea. The red stars represent those who were shot. The star on your left is the gentleman who was killed and hit in the head, Corey. The two on the right bleacher are those who were injured and are in the hospital now. Okay. So does anybody want to kind of kick us off with your thoughts? Yes, come on up and speak loudly. Is this tone good for everybody? Yeah? Up more. Okay, at least your first name, where you're from, and where you were. You're joining me, so if you see me visiting, it's a good time to wrap up. So I'd like to keep it up to 10 minutes under 5 if you can, but you know what? I'd like to hear as many people as possible.
My story is going to be different than all of yours. My name is Karen. I live in Monaca, Beaver County. And we were sitting in D, section D, off to podium. We would have been sitting right there, first row, with Joel and a few of our other friends, until I got overcome by a heat stroke. I made my way back to the tree. I don't know if you guys know, that's all my head kept thinking was I need to get to that tree because I'm going to go down. And I made my way to the tree. I passed my husband and I kept walking. I said, I need to get to that tree. So I got to the tree. This was, I don't know, somewhere around 3, because we were there since 9. They came, they got me, took me to the medical tent. They sent me to the hospital. So we were at the hospital. I was in the ambulance at 3:30 on my way to the hospital. And it was overcrowded because the ambulance drivers were making round trips, literally dropping somebody off, going back and picking somebody else. They were also, Butler County was having a car show at the airport. That's why Trump wasn't at the airport. So they were also getting people from the car show. When I got there, the head charge nurse told my ambulance driver, said, stop bringing people unless they're 90 years old and can't sit up. Stop, because they were overwhelmed. So we were at the hospital. They took my blood at some point. I was sitting in the waiting room in a wheelchair because there was no place for me to go. I finally ended up having to ask to use the restroom. The nurse came, took me to the restroom. She stopped by her post and said, let me see if you need a urine sample. I noticed Trump had just got there. He just started speaking and she was watching it on her computer. And I said, oh, you're watching it. She goes, yeah, you can come back in here and watch it with me if you want. I said, okay. So she took me, I was in the restroom. The next thing I heard was my husband screaming, running down the hallway, where's Karen? Where's Karen? He's been shot. He's been shot. I come out in the hallway, people were crying. There was a lot of Trump people there. And we all knew, like you just saw, you had the red, white, and blue stuff on, or you had a t-shirt on, so you just knew, and we were like, oh, we tried to make it. And so people started crying. I never saw my nurse again. I don't know where she went. She ran out of her office, and I never saw her again. So we went into the waiting room. There was about 20 of us in the waiting room. And we started watching it on the TV. And I said, they're probably going to bring him here. And Rick, my husband goes, really? And I said, they're probably going to bring him here. The next thing we know, cops fly in, Secret Service fly up. They start, the girl who was the shortest girl, she must have been in the charge Secret Service person, because she jumps out of the car and starts pointing to windows, doors, telling people where to go. They wouldn't let anyone leave the hospital. Nobody was allowed into the hospital. They shut down all the computer systems in the whole hospital. They brought the military guys with the, I don't know what, the big helmets on their heads. They were standing there with their big guns in the parking lot. We were all taking pictures. My husband got a video of President Trump walking into the ER. He got out of his SUV and walked into the ER room. It's not a very good picture because of where we were at. It's just a little beeline photo. And then we were stuck there. We were trapped, and I know you guys were all trapped where you were at too, but we did a small prayer vigil at the hospital in the ER room. We invited anybody else there, and a few people came over. We all held hands, and we prayed for President Trump. And am I missing anything? No, I just wanted to share that with you, that it was a different perspective, that we got to see him walk into the hospital, because at that point we still didn't know how harmed he was, because they hadn't shown it on TV yet. All we knew that he was shot in the head. And to see him, no, my husband was filming, he's going, he's walking, he's walking. He was live streaming it on Facebook. And there was probably only two that you could tell weren't Trump fans in the waiting room. The other ones were all interested, had the windows. We had two big like bay windows that we could see everything. But his door, he walked into the door where the ambulances would go. So he was over here. So, and his SUV stopped right at the edge of our windows. So we only had a small vision of him. And one funny story. I know it's not funny, but my husband was reading something at one point somebody had sent us. People were sending us pictures, asking if I'm okay. And they sent us a picture or a story about from Politico about Biden saying about a bullseye on Trump. So my husband's reading that. So Trump leaves, and we're sitting in there, and the FBI and Secret Service were coming in, getting drinks of water and going to the bathroom. And they come in, and I kept telling them, they're going to come confiscate your phone because you live streamed President Trump walking in. I mean, that's what I kept thinking. They come in, they come up to my husband and said, sir, can we see you a minute over here?
2 FBI, 2 Secret Service, 2
state police. So 6 police officers took them. I'm texting my kids, Secret Service just took your dad into another room. He goes in there, and he had this shirt on, I believe red, white, and Trump, and he has his Trump tennis shoes on, and they go, I'm really confused. And he said, what? He goes, well, you're not in trouble and you're not arrested. My husband says, I know I'm not. He goes, I didn't do anything wrong. And he goes, well, do you know why you're in here? He said, no. He goes, well, did you say about putting a bullseye on Trump's head? And my husband goes, I was repeating something my cousin sent me. I was reading it to the people in the waiting room. He goes, I can go get my phone right now and show you what she sent me. He goes, I believe you. He goes, well, I love Trump. I've been to every one of his rallies within 100-mile radius. I love him. And they said, we believe you. But that was his story. So I text my kids and like, oh, false alarm, he's okay. But I'm fine. I was fine. They said it was just the heat exhaustion, and whatever. But I pray for all you who had to endure being there. And we had friends that were still there, and a good friend who is not a Christian, who went to church for the first time on Sunday. He's very traumatized by the whole thing. So, thank you.
You're good.
Am I good? I don't know where I'm looking. Hi, everybody. I have the only role. Louder. Oh my gosh. Okay. My name is Tony Shoup. I'm CEO of Audit The Vote. I'm just coming up here really quickly to let you guys know that the only role that really I had in today's planning, I was not there. I watched many of you that have become friends with over the last 3.5 years behind the podium, and super thankful that you're all here, because that was in and of itself jarring, realizing that heaven forbid I could have lost a lot of my circle of friends that day. But I'm up here now because the only role I played today was when Joel sent me the text about this, I texted back and said, can I share this? And he said, heck yeah, you can share it. I said, are you sure? So when I shared it out, I immediately started getting traction on my Facebook page where people across the state are asking to see this, if we could live stream it. And I said to Joel, do you want to live stream it? He said, heck yeah, let's go. And so if you're watching this on the live stream in the state of Pennsylvania, just know that we love you. And this is for all of us. I know it's here in Western PA, but we're here for everybody. And I believe we've come this far to build this community. I think that's the only reason that the Lord gave me the reach that he did, is so that we can reach each other and take care of one another in circumstances like this. And so I came up here today just to give everybody a little warning that the Epic Times was supposed to be watching and covering this, but we also have our friends from the fake news who just walked in the door, right over here to my right in the red shirt. And so Anthony has had a discussion with him. I'm assuming it's okay that he stays, but do know that that Channel 11 News is here. And so just keep that in mind, whatever it is that you share. Take my cue from our leader and call them out for what they are. So we are here to share the truth, like they did not do about January 6th. We're here to get the word out about what actually happened. And so regardless of what spin they choose to put on it, know that this is being live streamed and recorded by multiple people, including a local Con Angles. And so we will get the truth out there. That's pretty much it. I love you all. Thank you.
As we add in media, I do want to add, we're grateful Channel 11 found out about it and is here. We do have another reporter who is here in our audience from the New York Times. He was at the rally, not as a New York Times reporter, and told me that the New York Times tried to interview him, which I think is funny. So he was definitely incognito. So just keep that in mind as you're speaking. I love how Tony put it. We are out all about truth, and tonight is to help us process. So I'm ready for whoever would like to come on up. Somebody coming up?
I can speak.
All right. So
Okay, go ahead. You want to go first?
Come on up. Just say who you are, where you're from, and where you were that day.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy. I live in Brighton Township. On Saturday, my son and I had VIP tickets for his 13th birthday, and as a homeschool mom, we were supposed to be in behind stage, but we ended up getting stuck because there were so many people. They didn't let us to the behind the stage, so we stood at the emergency exit in the front corner. I come from a law enforcement family. When we heard what I thought sounded like firecrackers, I knew to get down. I knew to get my son down. I did not know what was happening. We could only hear. At that point, my son was to my right, but I knew that we were at an emergency exit and that whatever happened to President Trump, they were coming our way. I made my son go from the right by the barrier to the left, and I covered my son. There was another woman with her son. We all had to get down on the ground, and then we had to stay on the ground by gunpoint. The only thing that I could see was the barrel of the gun of the Secret Service. There were a lot of people on the news that they're showing, they were standing, they were cheering, but those of us in that emergency exit were ordered to stay down on the ground. The little boy beside me had what looked like blood on him, and I asked his mom, please tell me he's not bleeding. And she said, no, it's ketchup. Because myself and another mom, we were laying in garbage on the ground. We did not know if Trump was alive. The little boy said he was shot in the face. We could just hear the screams, but I never felt more safe in my life because I knew they were bringing the president beside us. I made sure my son was safe. By the time we were allowed to stand up or get up, almost everybody was gone. The only thing that I saw was friend Rico covered in blood. I was frozen, but my son, who's 13, touched me on the shoulder. He said, Mom, it's okay, we can leave now. He had to move chairs so we could leave safely. My son says he's okay. But he also said, I'll never go to one of these events again. And I've been asking everybody to pray for the children that were there. There was another girl that I witnessed, couldn't have been 12. She could not screaming. Why would they do that to him? Why did they shoot him? So please pray for the children that were there. Everybody there's been affected by this. But my son's name is Grayson. If you want to say a prayer for him tonight, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll get. Give me a moment. The problem with volunteering is being the tech guy, and then all the tech starts going belly up. Thanks for, by the way, not only being here, but putting up with the technical difficulties.
I think I can get through this. But this was my first Trump rally. This was my first Trump rally. And I've already got family saying, you're never going back to one of them again. Watch me. I don't know what your faith is, but I'm going to tell you right now, Jesus Christ had his arms and his army around us. And Saturday when we were going, this is my friend Dottie Mason. When we got up there, we stood 4 hours in that hot sun. And I was like, Lord, please, please, I want to see this. And then finally, Rico helped us get to where we were able to get on the bleachers B. And whenever we were walking in, I asked Dottie, because we were the first one to go in there. I said, Dottie, where do you want to sit? And she goes, let's go up, kind of far so we can, we can see because we're short. So I said, okay, let's go up right. We were towards the left, okay? Let's go up here and then I can. Long story short, with my hip, I could not make it all where I wanted to get and lean against the railing that I wanted to lean against. And it was God's protection on me because I have the picture of Corey. We were sitting here, Corey and his family were behind us. And I mean, we had a chance to talk and all of us were sitting in there singing songs to the oldies, exchanging conversations. And then like the other young lady said, all of a sudden we heard, pop, pop. And, I too, who just took a gun course, thought at first everybody said fireworks. And then I'm like, that's not fireworks. And someone yelled, gun down. So did what they said. We got down. I squeezed this big fat body into where your feet go. I don't know how, but Lord squeezed me in there. And she was standing on the bleachers and I yanked her down. And then we heard the blood curdling scream of his daughter yelling, medic, medic, we need a doctor. Her father was shot, and I would never, ever wish anybody to see and have to go through what that family did. But I'll tell you what, we know where he is now. Heavenly Father whisked him up and he's in the arm of his Lord Jesus. And he's looking down at his beautiful wife and children and his whole family. And even for President Trump, noted I said President Trump, because that's who it's going to be come November. All I know is God bless you all, and I thank God for his protection and continued protection on President Trump, his family, and our new elected chosen Vance is going to be our vice president. Thank you all and God bless you.
I'm waiting. Who's that?
It's me. I'll be filler for Rico. Maybe. Huh? Oh, yeah, come on up. I did have some photos and stuff to share. I was there too.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Mike. I'll speak up. I'm Mike. First of all, I just want to say I was a volunteer at the event on Saturday. So I was there for probably about noon, a little after noon till about the time they evacuated everyone. Everyone probably remembers about that time. Everybody has different memories probably of it. Different things come to mind. Where I was, well, first of all, when we get there, you know, my volunteering job was passing out waters to people. They said, anybody you see elderly, anybody who's in need of water, you know, give them bottles of water. We had superfluous, we had large amounts. So I was just passing those out, showing some of the senior citizens where like the ADA line was, if they had like walker or wheelchair, things like that. Eventually, you know, but when the whole event started, I was behind section D there, the open chairs. And I was kind of at a unique vantage point because I was probably like, I'd say maybe 200 feet or more from the stage area. In fact, I couldn't even see President Trump where I was standing. I could see him on the big screen, but I couldn't see him personally. But I had clear view from where the building was, and I was probably about 150 feet away from that. So when the events started, as people described earlier, I did not see President Trump go down. In fact, the only things I heard were gunshots and, you know, people's back and forth. Was it firecrackers? To me, it almost sounded like firecrackers, but it was like, okay, you got to take precautions. And I'm glad at that point they stopped President Trump from speaking because you have to take all precautions at that point. From there, it was just, you know, I heard the second volley of shots, and what I later found out to be correspondent with the return fire from the Secret Service, which killed the gunman. And during this time, I'm thinking, you know, I could actually see flashes of, you know, fire from the gun muzzle. That's about how close I was, even though I was 150 feet or so away. When I turned my head to see to see where the initial gunshots were coming from, I could actually see fire coming from the gun muzzle. It was pretty surreal. And then around that time, you see people start to panic. And I'm thinking, well, don't get panicked. I don't know what this is yet. It could just be firecrackers, as I said. You know, we're all still in alarm, don't know what it is. But I see people rushing out towards that area. And then I dropped to one knee just to kind of get down and survey the area, you know, because again, I don't know what it is. It's kind of, I get it's a panic response of large crowds of people. So after that, you know, I did probably in haste, not the best judgment, rush over to the fence area to see if any of the officers needed assistance with, you know, I thought they were maybe beyond chase. You know, I saw someone have a hard time getting over the fence. I can jump, I'm pretty nimble. It's not hard for me to do, you know, but I don't know what I would have done had I caught him, but just saying, in case there was somebody else. But I was asked to get back from the fence area. At that point, there's another person told us to evacuate. And around the time that we were evacuated, we did not even know. I didn't even know, and some of the people who were with me didn't even know that President Trump had been actually shot and shot in the air. It wasn't until I called a friend who had seats in the bleachers afterwards, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, that's where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be in the bleachers behind as a volunteer. But initially we were told, well, you can't get back there. There's too crowded, it's too packed, whatever. So I just like, okay, fine. I'm just going back in the pool tent, volunteers, stuff like that, signing up for people for volunteering. I'm fine with that. I have no problem. But, you know, it ended up kind of being either way, maybe fortuitous, maybe not. You know, it's just, again, it's a unique vantage point. It wasn't until I called my friend and asked how she was doing, that I found out President Trump had been hit, and that's all she had known. So walking all the way back to my car, I'm thinking the worst had happened. Just a real quick, also afterwards, just the, I guess the aftermath for me was I also had a friend there from Moon Township, where I'm from. And I didn't know until 24 hours later that this gentleman was one of the ones who was badly injured, critically injured. And my heart kind of sunk. I mean, obviously I was in shock, but I, found out that way. Didn't even know he was going to the event that day, but he was there. I think God was watching over a lot of people that day. It's led me to believe that, God probably had a hand in this. He did. And, yeah, it was a very unique experience. That's all I have to say. And it was, probably for a lot of people, it was very, traumatic and eye-opening. So go ahead, please. I don't know specific numbers. So initially, it's hard to say, maybe 3 or 4 shots. That seems to correspond with what a lot of people were saying. Okay, 6 shots. That's what I'm hearing, And then I heard a return volley of shots. So that was the Secret Service at that point firing. Go ahead. Where was he sitting? I believe he was in the bleachers. I would imagine they were probably pretty close together. Yeah, just judging by the trajectory. Oh, geez, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
This is the podium. So you can see this is his mom.
Yeah.
Any updates from your friend?
The only update I have at this time, and out of respect for the family, I don't want to go to specifics. He's got a long road ahead of him. Just prayers for his recovery. I know there's a GoFundMe page out for his name's Jim. First of all, there's a GoFundMe page out. I think it's also on the Trump website for victims of the shooting. So please feel free. Donations are appreciated. Prayers most of all at this time for recovery, because he's got a long way ahead. So thank you.
I love it. Meanwhile, we're worried about, are we gonna have to set filler and stretch stuff out? I love it. Keep on coming.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Monica. I run the Mercer County Patriots in Mercer County. Yep, my name's Monica. I run the Mercer County Patriots in Mercer. And I also am working with Ed Krupa sitting in the back. We are working as liaisons for the grassroots organizations for Trump Force 47. And we're hoping at the end of this, maybe we can get a couple minutes to talk to you. But my story is about being a volunteer too. And it's also a story of shame. This was my 7th Trump rally. I've done something at every one of them that's been different. But this year, I was just a regular ranks volunteer, and it felt different. There was patriotism for sure. That is palpable at every rally where you get good Christian conservatives together. But there was something different. But I will tell you, God was with us. God was with us in that flag that was over the stage.
Come on.
It moves me to tears to think about that. But I spent what happened in a medical tent because the heat got to me. And I am embarrassed, but I'm grateful because I would not be the same if I watched it happen live. But I am very sorry that I missed the people coming together and reciting the Lord's Prayer. And I'm going to ask you, please, to all rise, put your hearts in it together, and let's pray together for Donald J. Trump and for our country. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, glory, forever. Amen. Thank you so much.
You want that? I was up here first. You come. Come on, we were sitting next to each other, Barbara. Wow, come on. Anthony, yeah. I'm Anthony. Sitting right here. Right here. So, for a while, we were putting on the side of the cameras. You know, as everybody was speaking, you know, speakers that come from Trump, you know, like right in the center, and then I just kept getting pushed around, and I had to step off the bleachers for a minute. And, but I got back up. And, I mean, that was the first Trump rally actually witnessed. I went to one in Iowa last year, and that was a eerie day. Then nothing felt right. Ended up getting canceled. But that was Saturday, the first one I attended. I mean, it was, you know, it was amazing. I mean, leading up, driving up, the bus up, that blast we got there, and it was just joy. People were, I mean, it was amazing. But in that, you know, my friend Victor got good seats, amazing seats. Really? Yes. I mean, I have a pretty good view of everything. I'm just picturing it all happening right now. But, you know, immediately heard the gunshot from the right. And just got down. And not panicked, but for a moment I just had complete peace, unexplainable peace. And I just sat there and observed what everyone else was doing, and trying to figure out what direction to go. I really couldn't move from the bleachers because everybody was just on, you couldn't even step to the bleachers because everybody was on the bleachers. And then my buddy Shane was right here. I got thrown out next to him. And Shane was like, we need to pray. And we both stood up and we just started saying the Lord's Prayer. And everyone just kind of joined in. And, but it was, I don't have much to say. I'm processing for, you know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm glad everybody made today. I mean, we need each other. We saw him shot, grabbed his hair, go down. I mean, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. You know, how the hell does a 20-year-old get on the roof with that kind of security? I mean, we could pull a few dozen veterans around here and we're better friendly than that. I mean, this is the highest profile man in the world. How did that happen? There's a lot of things that are questionable. We've been taught to question everything. Big news. You know, let's see how they spin it. I mean, the Beaver County Times said Trump rally interrupted by loud noise. I mean, that's the headline. I mean, that's why I don't trust the fake news. So, some of them are new to this. So, cover it right. Tell the truth. You know, that's all.
If you haven't noticed, when we get together, we all have a special time. And Saturday was a special time. I went with my dearest volunteer friend, Cindy. We've been on the ground working since actually 2016. When people say, how did you get such good seats? We've worked really hard to get those good seats. And like Anthony said, we have contacts in the field because we've worked for our candidates and we volunteered. So it was a blessed day. We were thankful to get the good seats. But there are a couple of things that I want to add on what Anthony said, because I was blessed and Anthony and I somehow ended up in line together, which was amazing. I saw Joel and we see Joel. I was like, well, we're in heaven now, because I've got Joel and I've got, Joel and I've got Anthony. It was just great. And of course, Joel's out there taking pictures and we got some really cool pictures before we went into the arena, or to the fairgrounds. But I went back up what Monica said, because being volunteers, and we volunteered back in the 2020 COVID year, when you had to do temperatures and make sure people weren't sick going in, there was so much security that when I tell you, being an old woman, when I would stand next to a Secret Service person, that made my day. And I could say to them, wow, this is, and Cindy and I, we'd have a blast, because these guys were so cool. And you'd say, thank you for keeping our president safe. And they're like, no, he's working for us, and we're so glad to be there for him. But this was a different feel. And I witnessed, Cindy and I both did this show for two things I want to tell you. When you talk about the children, there were more children at this rally. And again, I've been to many rallies. Cindy and I can talk about that. But there were children at this rally. And again, I believe it's a good thing. I know people say, well, kids shouldn't go there. I heard that today. I know it was downright hot. We saw people going down, in a short amount of time in line. We saw 10 people fall. Medics were right there. We were able to get help, go back to the volunteer table, bring medics up and get them out of there and get water. It was beastly hot. And that's a big open area there. But two boys that we met, and their father's an educator, and their mom is a very special lady too. They were so excited to be at the rally. You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Oh, cool. But they were so excited. I'm doing pretty good for sound, aren't I? Because they always yell at me, talk louder. But we really were had so much fun with these two boys, because they made a big sign. And they wanted President Trump to see this sign. As soon as we got into the bleachers, those guys always at the top of the back of the day, and they had their sign, and like, President Trump's going to see this. So that to me was heartbreaking, and we talked to them certainly on Saturday night to make sure that it was okay. But there was another boy there that was dressed as
Probably sent it. It's okay. I'll get it for later.
Sure. But this little sign says there's two young boys here. I know you can't see it, but kids for Trump. Okay, big book. Used for upsets and honest most. He is evil. Truth really upsets most people. Stand for Trump. But I'm going to speak from my heart for 2 seconds, okay? All of you know I'm a retired educator. We don't talk about it. In my day, you never talk politics. When I walked into school after the 2016 election, I didn't have a stop at home. They're like, whoa, you go to excuse me? I never said anything about who I was voting. That was the way down, because I didn't vote. And it was no one else's business. But anyway, so what happened, where am I going with the story? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I had my MAGA shirt on, right? Cindy and I are all dressed up in our MAGA gear. I never talked about what I do outside of all the patriot groups I go to, and especially about Audit The Vote. Always on the ground working, talking about things. When I had my MAGA shirt on, we made the news. I don't know if you've seen it. We've been all over MSNBC. I have a best friend in Nebraska that I won't bore you with all the details. Totally could not talk about President Trump because it was serious TVS. I got a call from her today saying, were you at the rally? And I had to be honest. And I said, well, yes, I was at the rally. And I support President Trump. And I went down the path of how we're in a spiritual battle. It's not political. It is a spiritual battle for this nation. And just like Anthony said, we were praying up on those bleachers and people said, you weren't down there. I said, no, we were standing, raising our arms to the Lord, and the Lord was there. But my secret is out. I'm a Trumper and I'm a MAGA person. I'm for this country. And I've also taken heed from my dearly beloved daughter. And pray for me because I don't know where this is going to go. But again, all of us have suffered the Trump derangement syndrome, people in our vicinity. So again, we're all in this together, and God bless us. God bless President Trump and my neighbor Cindy. We're always in this together. So again, thank you.
She's a little bit too young. She's my neighbor. Like she said, I won't duplicate things that she said, but she and I have been partners in crime since 2016, and I think we were pretty instrumental in going door to door to help Tony Shoup start Audit The Vote. We went to places where people were literally having shotguns out the door, and Mark would say, I don't think we should go in there. And I said, I grabbed her, I said, we're going. And we went to every door that we had to help Tony get Audit The Vote, get enough information for her to really say there is something wrong with this election. So anyway, I don't want to duplicate anything Barb said, but I do want to reiterate what Anthony talked about because it's exactly the way I feel. There was something very calming about what happened. And I've had probably 50 people have reached out to me because they saw us on TV. Barb and I were in A. We were actually in the 5th row, right in the middle, so we were directly behind the podium. But we were actually 5 rows up. But when the camera shot the podium, we looked like we were in the 1st row. So I had a hot pink Trump hat on and a hot pink shirt like she has. So everybody saw me right away. But people were reaching out to me and saying, we don't understand how you stayed so calm. Every picture that we see of you, you're so calm. And my family, a large part of my family lives in Serbia. And I can tell you that the Serbian people love Trump. And when I asked them, why do you guys love him so much? Without batting an eyelash, my cousin said to me, because he was the only US president that ever came here personally, sat down with our government and said, what can the United States do to help you people after they were involved in their horrible war? But after everything happened, I can say there was a calming, and it was very strange to experience it. And people kept saying to me, oh my God, you're probably like, are you stressed? I'm like, no, and I'm still not today. What I'm feeling, most importantly, and the only way I can describe it, it's a feeling of true hope. And everybody that's in this room today, we can talk till we're blue in the face, but we all need to act. Everybody that's in this room, please try to volunteer in some capacity. You don't have to make phone calls. You don't have to door knock. You can do mailings. There's tons of stuff that you can do to help out. We need a full force. Encourage everybody to go out and vote. And I can assure you that we are on the right track. and President Trump is going to lead us to glory.
All right, now try to get me out of the way. Only because it was my first time at a Trump rally as well, right, Anthony? And boy, my mom was worried, be careful. I'm like, I'm in the safest place. It's out in Butler. It's a bunch of conservative, good people. I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. Boy, I really jinxed it, didn't I? Thanks to Rick, he got me VIP tickets right up front, right at his the stairs where he would leave, and got some great shots throughout the whole day. One eerie thing was that I thought that was very. A lot of people I think got that were there. How the American flag did that, almost angelic, kind of very bizarre. How the wind whipped it up like that. They did fix it, of course, after I think it was McCormick was there. Of course, I did see those guys that didn't seem to act fast enough, which is odd. Let me get a really good shot here of him. That was good. Anyway, yes. Yeah. So good question. That was so that was the escape route. And like literally like the record. See. So those guys there were two on the other side. You can see not the other. Those guys literally I'm standing here seeing Trump. Those guys. So I can just look up, zoom in, which is like. Oddly enough, they were pointing the opposite direction. At the time, this was during setup. So this was before Trump arrived. So they were pointed the other way. They were pointed like that initially. Yeah, this one is. Yeah, this is in the opposite direction of where the shooter was. I imagine when I was getting close to that time, they were pointed in the other direction. I wasn't paying attention to them at that point once Trump came out. I did sit next to Denise. She is the regional director of Women for Trump, Pennsylvania, Women for Trump. Very great gal. We talked a lot. And one thing she noticed the whole time that was annoying her was the security was not what it seemed. It seemed very lax, very sparse, a lot of looseness, if you will, with and lackadaisicalness with where people were at, what's going on. Again, it was my first time, so no, it was just baking in the sun. So that was one point there I wanted to make. She noticed and observed. Sadly, her autistic son was his first time. And when it happened, oh yeah, he was very traumatized. I felt very bad. I checked on her a couple times to make sure he was okay afterwards. But you know, he when it went down, he was very upset. So that was alarming. When it happened, like everybody mostly has said, it was popcorn. He was showing the chart. Most of us were all looking at that. I hadn't seen that chart, and Trump was pointing it out a lot. And then it was right after that we heard it. And then again, I thought it was just kids with firecrackers or something, just somebody playing a prank to ruin the event for everybody. And boy, I was wrong. When he No, there was not panic, unlike what the media says. Like, again, we've all were there and we noticed it. Everybody either ducked down or stood up. I kind of stood up and then I had a seat behind me, so I just sat down. I didn't get alarmed, oddly. And when we got back up, I've been telling people it's like Rocky Balboa times a million at the end of the movie when he got up with his fist. It really was like that. It was crazy because how close he was. He looked over when he was coming downstairs. He looked over at our direction and fist up, looked kind of like I'm looking at Rick right now. It was like fight, and it was like I'm like in my chair like this. I'm like, oh man. I did manage to get that was my shot with my iPhone. That was after he was being taken away. So I snapped a few and some were blurry, but at least that one came out there and it was crazy. And yes, I feel for everybody that was there, and but that was at least my recounting. And again, thank you, Rick, for getting me there, and I would go again. I would support him again, and but yeah, definitely some odd inconsistencies with stuff. Let's put it that way. So, anyway, thank you for letting me talk. And on Anthony's bus that I went there, yet, not today, Satan. Not today. Oh, you are.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening. My name's Rick. I'm right here in Monaca. My wife was the first one to get up and speak. And I kind of wanted to say something that I've been to. And I actually wasn't going to say a word about this. In fact, I wasn't even going to speak. And I just felt, I don't want to say felt a peace about it, but after Joe, teasing. After Joel, after Joel said something, I said, well, yeah, you're right. After he said this, I said, well, I think I am going to speak and say something. So most of you, a lot of you know, I carry these shirts. I sell them, I make them, but I have a whole line of an online store. That's not what I want to say. I specifically had this shirt, not this one, this design that I made for President Trump. And I wanted to give it to him because of our seating. I brought it with me. Because of our seating, we were literally, like my wife said, like Joel said, we were right in this is the podium. And I was literally sitting in that end seat there on the corner. The only thing in front of me was the cattle rail barricade and then the podium. And I was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to run back to the truck. I have at least an hour before he gets here, and I want to give him my shirt. That's all I wanted to do. And I was going to do it. So I huffed my way back to the back through the crowds. By the way, whoever asked with my encounter, as my wife said, was Secret Service, it was shy under 150, if you wanted to know, 1,000. So, because I point blank asked them. It was shy under 150,000. Anyways, I get back there and I'm sweating profusely. I'm doubled over. I'm exhausted. I said to one of the security guards, I said, listen, I need to get to my truck. I've got to get something. He said, you need some your medication. I said, look at me. Yeah. Yep. So I said, oh yeah, he's not going to give me a ride if I said, I just want to go get a t-shirt. So, I kind of fudged a little bit. I said, yeah, I just need to get to my truck. And he said, all right, I'll take you. So I get in this the golf cart you guys all saw. We go out the back exit, go all the way around the fence. We're literally outside now. And we go to where the truck's past the main gate where you get scanned in. And he takes you all the way into the parking lot. And we can't get any further because there's just thousands and thousands of people still coming in. He said, can I just let you off here? because I can't get through. He said, I will wait for you here. And I said, yep. I run to my truck. I get the t-shirt. I come back, have it in my hat. And I couldn't find him. So now it's been about 5 or 6 minutes and I was getting nervous. Oh my gosh, he left. And then I saw him. So probably about 7 minutes before I got back in the car that he and I were not in contact. I don't care if it's 7 seconds, right? It was about 7 to 10 minutes. I get back in, we come in, literally drives all the way back around the same way we came out, come all the way back in, drives me all the way up the fence. Why am I saying that? Because I would never have, I could have so easily put anything in my shorts, in my pocket, under my hat. Nothing was I checked. They escorted me all the way back up to the front of the line. I mean, not the front of the line, to where I was seating. I just had to now just get out and walk into my crowd, which I did. Then Thor, the other guy that I brought, a good friend of mine from Youngstown, he wanted a shirt. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, and he wanted this one. I said, fine. And I'm like, you're not going to do this the second time. What am I saying? I need more medication. So I went back there. I said, listen, I really need to get back. It was, thank God it was somebody different. I say, because I wasn't going up to the same person. So I say all the same thing happened. Same exit, all the way back around. He sat there, same thing, still had thousands of people. He said, can I let you off here? I said, sure. I walked to my truck. This time, it just took me a second. I grabbed the thing, it was back in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, no matter if it's 2 to 3 seconds. We were out of sight. I went into my truck, came out of my truck, got back in, all the way back around, went through all the police barricades, all the way up, all the way back to where he picked me up at, all the way up to the front of the door. I mean, front of the crowd. Where now all I have to do is get up and walk in. Right here. Just walk all the way back up. Right. That was it. Again, twice, not once, twice. Not once, twice. Why am I saying that? Because it was extremely lax. The security was extremely poor. I so wish I was there. My heart wishes I was there. My wife begged me to stay. I said, it doesn't matter who's on that stage. You had a heat stroke. I'm not allowing you to go to the hospital with a heat stroke by yourself. Part of me wishes I did, because I would immediately scaled the barricade and I would have been over there with Rico. That's just my heart. That's who I am. But the other reason, on a smaller note, I had front seats for a reason. They had front seats. I got them front seats for a reason. There was dozens, if not hundreds, of people standing in front of me. They refused to move. That really angered me when I found that out later, because I personally would have done something about it. I have enough size to back it. It never. Thank you. Yeah, I've been to, since 2015, since it's come down to golden escalators, I have never missed a rally within 100-mile radius. I go to every dozens and dozens. I lost track. It's over in 50s and 60s. Every one. And that's never happened before. I'm always normally up front. A lot of times I'm dead up front, first row. That was the first time, and I wasn't there obviously to hear it, but I saw the pictures and I heard all the experience about it. Everyone was just hundreds of people up front. Poor security.
For those of you who were there, what was your perspective on security or pay through things or something, you know? Once you started speaking, it was like forward. If there was a mass shooter there, or some shooter, we all did.
And again, that's never, ever happened before.
They had barricades here. When I walked in, 300 people deciding they were going to sit. They this together so it could move. The gentleman here said no, but people kept coming in and they were trying to block this off. I'm completely confused by the. So different people do different things, which made sense. Once everybody was in, they started to clear this out. So then I got here. When they came out, they had to go back on the ground. Going back to what were they trying to do? Pull it off. Nobody was saying anything. Nobody. So we, again, knew they were coming through. I didn't know they were going to be. Just music. Interesting that from your perspective, even the Secret Service is not on the same page coordinating security, which is their job. Yeah. The other perspective, Bob, you have.
It was a beast law. These people were wrong. Yeah, it's actually great.
Yeah.
I had a friend say, slightly off, coding is actually in line with people. I look around, just wondering if someone was to go down the river. The old, it's going to be full of the big one vehicle or something for her, which is sat there in the block. The roof is behind, because to the right of it is strictly a roof. Right? That's line of sight right in the code, but I thought myself, surely there's something to the top. And my dismay it wasn't. It was. I'm sorry?
You had views.
I think that we this coding walking that, so we were like right in line. But you can see the roof extending on. It's really shocking. I don't understand how you can possibly, if there was a house up there with a bedroom window in the second floor, looking down at that, because they would someone that I'm sure we did. There you had roof line, fire, and certainly indicating.
The last time I was in the USA, they told us to leave. We had no idea. Trying to think about it. So, but, you know,
Video I was getting. Seeing the crowd is a workshop. So I think that was going on just before. The last thing I was first of all, and until I got home, and started seeing it, so for those over there, the area that's marked A, putting it behind that is 2 barns. And on 2 of the barns, it's like a cage. Now, what I don't understand is either one of those barns is not. Now, the next building goes like this, and he's coming up. He's probably waiting to get into the place. Because you can go on Google Maps to see how clear it's only 400 feet away. But when you got shot, he was in the middle of a roof coming up. So he obviously didn't get to the point. They may have shot him, but how would they have seen him? On the other hand, when the police was in front of him, he may have that way to just quick shot. I don't know. It's a question of that. But it just doesn't make sense to be shot when halfway up the roof. When you really didn't know
Does anyone remember Lee Harvey? Just saying.
Yes.
All right. Before anybody else talks, want to make sure you get up here so you can be heard. But there is somebody special here. I want to make sure he gets time. Local candidate, local boy, local serviceman.
Local hero.
Update
How's everybody doing? I mean, how does everybody feel after the events of this weekend? Yeah, sad. Yeah. Those feelings are all what everyone is going through. Before I go into my accounts and my events of the day, I want to start off by saying that let's remember that a life was taken for the purpose that we may not know, that we can only speculate, but a life was taken and a family was ruined. And not just one, but two families. And then to account the victims that were critically injured, I read earlier today that they are not on a critical injured list. They are recovering. What did you just say? Praise God. Not that I'm standing here at a pulpit in church, but that is the only thing that protected everyone there. I mean, for us that was present at this event, we've seen that awesome and amazing flag that was projected and looked like an angel. And I remember speaking and coming down, and everyone's looking up, like, what is everyone looking at? I look back, and there it is, the flag of our nation. Is that resembling of an angel? That gave me goosebumps and chills. So my whole reason for being at this event was to speak. The Trump team called and said, would you like to come and speak at the Trump rally in Butler on Saturday? And you're going to speak about Trump 47, and that is the campaign that Trump has in Pennsylvania, which requires individuals to go door knocking, go to events, and or make phone calls. And I said, I don't know. The biggest event that I've ever spoken at was on the Capitol steps, and that was about 3,000 people. So I'm like, okay, how many people do we expect to be here? It might be 20,000, but it's no big deal. So I said, wait, you said 20,000, that's 4 zeros and a 2 in front of that. You want me to come out there and speak to all these people? And they said, yep. I said, okay, you know what? You got me. So I had to cancel my events earlier that day. And because once they told me that, the week up to the event, I was scared. I was shaking in my boots, and I didn't know what to say. I am the vice chairman for Beaver County's Republican Committee. I said, okay, well, I have that. I said, well, I do a lot of stuff in the community. I have that, so I can talk about all that. I'll talk about my military experience. I didn't know that the experiences that I had would play a pivotal role later in the day. So I get up, and like I said, before we go into this, I just want to say that the true heroes of this, the doctor who rendered aid, Corey, the man who lost his life, protecting and shielding his loved ones, those individuals, as far, we can even say the medical staff, we can add the police, you can add security services, Secret Service, sorry, you can add them to the list. These are the heroes of the day. Myself, I'm just an individual who was in the right place at the right time to make a difference. And I know that God put me there. That was our sermon this morning at church. God will put you in places where you need to be, just not where you want to be all the time. So on this lovely drawing board that we have here, I think it's an amazing drawing. It is there. Trump spoke the same area 2 hours. But all those speech, I've been told when I get walking, students speak. What? Let me use this red one.
Oh, we got
All right. So see the wounded rally. Wounded rally attending is where he was wounded at. You see what the stage is at? See that gap in between? That's Robert. Stage is right there. I was to the right of the stage in the VIP section. I was there with people like David Foreman, and I was there with Congressman Mike Kelly, as well as Sean Purnell and John David Longo, who's the mayor of Slippery Rock. And thank God for military presence being right there all together. The day started off great. As you guys all know, you guys are all there. Those of you who were there, everyone was excited. It was 96 degrees. Everybody was sweating. I think everyone asked me 1,000 times, why am I wearing a tie and a top coat? Because it's too hot. And I had short sleeve white shirt on, so I was okay. So I'm in there. I'm down speaking. I get done. I come back to my seat, my area, and my thought was, why am I sitting here when I can be mingling with everybody else? So I just cruise on out. And I'm talking to everybody. People from various parts of the United States came to Butler to listen to President Trump speak. And I was like, wow, some people drove very far. People from Allentown, Erie, people from over by Philadelphia were there listening to the speech. As the speech is going on, I had literally left my seat more than one time because I had to go to the facilities. And every time I would leave, I would have to come back because I was in line to get pictures. And I got a chance to get a picture with President Trump. And he told me that I had an amazing speech. And I was like, you weren't even here. How'd you see? He's like, I watched it on the airplane ride over. I said, oh, well, thanks. And after President Trump said, Rico Elmore, you had a phenomenal speech, I was like, whoa. And you could tell from the photos that we took that I was very surprised. Took the photos, came back out, I even tapped David Longo and said, hey, the president told me I had a great speech. What he's going to tell you? And I come back to that section. I run back to the facilities, talking to everybody. I finally come back. And I come back to that moment right before the president is discussing the immigration differences from his presidential to Biden's. And we're talking about how it's going up and up and up and up. And all I remember is trying to take off my jacket because it was 96 degrees and my arms were sticky. And I couldn't get the jacket off. Somebody had helped me take my jacket off. I still, to this day, don't know who it was. They helped me take my jacket off and put it on the back of the chair. At this point in time, Dave McCormick I'm sitting here. Dave is right here. Mike Kelly's right here in front of me. We stand up. Trump's talking, and he says, we need great people, paraphrasing, like Dave McCormick, who's running here in Pennsylvania. And he's like, Dave, come on up here. At that moment, Dave went to start walking up, and then Secret Service said, wait until he's finished. They didn't want to draw your attention away from the president. Now, if that rings alarms or red bells to anybody, I cannot confirm or deny those alarms or red bells because I don't know. I'm not Secret Service. And what we have to understand is the Secret Service, local police, state police, everyone that was there had a job to do. So if the Secret Service's primary job and only job is to protect the president, anything else that's going on, if it fell under a local's authority, first remember, it wasn't their job. They had the lane to stay in, and they stayed in that lane. And that's what we have to remember as we go forward with this and any and everything else. With that being said, I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, you hear those fateful shots. And the first thing I thought was, who has firecrackers at a Trump rally? Why would you bring fireworks? The sun's up, you can't even see them. And then you have the high octane level of security. How did fireworks even get inside? That all is going through my mind in the first two shots. Like, immediately, if you ever fired a semi-automatic, you know when you put that in 3-round burst, it's quick. So at that moment, as I'm sitting right there, I stand up, I turn around, and at that point, we know shots were fired. Everyone drops to the deck. Everyone drops to the ground. And I went to do this and quickly did this. This is what he was looking at. This is what he was talking about. I seen Trump go like this, and I seen the Secret Service swarm him and take Trump down for protection. After that, everything else I seen was on the news, just like everyone else, because my back was turned. In the bleachers, in B, where the individual was, we really killed him. We did here. I heard someone yell, "Man." Now, I'm not a medic, but I have training in the military, self-aid buddy care, and trauma response. As soon as someone yelled medic, I quickly turned around and ran towards the barricade. Barricade coming like here, and I'm tall. I went to the barricade. As I'm going, I had a tie on. I took it off finally, and I had a full bottle of water I picked up in stride to get over there. And I'm at the barricade. I said, "What happened?" He's been shot. Excuse my French. Excuse the kids. I said, "Holy shit." I jumped over the barricade, ran up to that gentleman there, and I thought that I would provide aid, tourniquet, stop the bleeding, clean it out, something. Lo and behold, at this point, I didn't know. It was fight or flight kicked in, and it was fight. I got over there. The doctor who was there with me, God bless that man, because he was phenomenal. I'm here, his family's here. Imagine sitting on bleachers and the shot comes through. His lower portion did not move. His upper body moved from the impact of the rifle bullet. He falls over, stays still. When he falls over, he gets wedged into the bleachers. Now, we're still telling people to get down, and all this, we're directing down, down, hit the deck, drop down, as we're providing aid to this gentleman. A lady next to me had a towel. I took that towel because she tried, but she was so shooken up that she needed to move out the way. Took that towel and I put it against his head. I held the man's head while the doctor next to me provided CPR. Prior to that, we did not know that he was gone. In that position of him being stuck, it's so difficult to move an individual who has passed out. So no one passed out. Grab him by his belt buckle, and by the strength of God, yanked him straight up and set him down on the bleachers. I'm still holding in his head here. We're grabbing him here. Me and the doctor are picking him up. We set him down. We laid the man down. And I tilt the towel back and I see it. You can only imagine what's underneath that towel. At that point, that's when I realized this is real. We're in a real dogfight, as you may call it. Medics got there, and if you looked into some of the videos, you can see me talking to the medics. And I put the towel over his head, and we carry him out, and we hand him off to the medics. His family, God bless him. And please, I ask to pray over the family of the deceased, because right now they're dealing with a lot. The family was trying to get down, but they were afraid. They were afraid because we're still yelling to get down and stay down. There's armed men, Secret Service, the police, locals, PSP, state police, telling people to stay down. But this is the family of a man who just took a bullet to his head. I was able to make contact with the individuals, with the police next to me, and I told them, come down, stay low, come down. The mother, I believe, or his wife, I am unsure of who the lady is, she could not make it down. She was so shook up and that she collapsed right there. Myself and the doctor ran up, grabbed her, put her, first we're gonna try to carry her like this, not gonna work, put her arm around mine, put arm around his. People came, we picked her up, and we carried her to the medics. Rest of the family, let's go. We got them out. We got everyone still staying down, and we brought them forward, and we got them out. This is the family, here you go. Not to make light of the situation. Someone said it earlier, so I'm just repeating it. They said you remind me of Forrest Gump. Because whenever, if you guys have all seen that movie, whenever Forrest lost Bubba, he kept going back in. He went back in and brought someone else out. And went back in and brought someone else out. So after I got the family down, I ran back in and said, all right, we got to get everyone out of here because we got this mass shooter. We got this sniper. We don't know what's going on. There's a secondary and there's a bomb. And I heard over the comms with the police that there was a device on him. So they didn't know if he indeed had or didn't have an explosive device at the arena. So coming up next, I started to direct people, basically yell in a nice tone at individuals to get down and get out. Having people come down the steps, it was hard because people were just so shooken up. I mean, there's literally a pile of blood and remains in this area that people were walking past. So we opened up the gates and we're directing people to come off the stands and to get out. And we're carrying people out where there was at one point where there was a lady that I'd seen who was just standing there looking up in the sky and just screaming because of what had happened. I had to physically go like this, shake her a little bit, and Tell her it is going to be okay. But I need you to move. I need you to keep on going. Because if you stop, they stop, this person stops, now we can't move. So I got her to keep going. And the last thing I remember, I looked back at her when she was moving, and it was a shuffle. You could tell in her face, she could not believe what had happened. So we cleared section B, we cleared section A, and we cleared section C, and then we got to section D to try to clear that as well. And we kept sending people out and just pushing people out, saying, no matter, get your car, get your loved ones, and get home. All I can say at this juncture, at this event, my mind was scattered. I understood what was going on, and I understood what had to be done. You don't, in that time frame, and when things are going on, it's you act. There is no second guessing, because second guessing will get you in trouble. You just make an act. And I'm thankful enough that God was watching over me that day and put me in that place to allow me to usher people out of harm's way. But I'm not a hero. The people who were the doctors, the individual who passed, Corey, the families that helped, those people are the heroes of the day because they did something that wasn't normal. We went to a rally to have fun and ended in a tragic disaster. Reading about Corey in the paper, knowing that he is a volunteer firefighter, knowing that he was involved in the church, knowing he was involved in his kids' lives. That is what a hero is. And that's what Corey is. I have no words about the shooter, but I know that we cannot condemn because we are not the ones who do that. We are not the ones to place fault, blame. There's only one person that does that, and it ain't me either. God will handle that in his time and in his hands. I pray for the family of the shooter, of the victims, of those who were wounded, because they have lost a loved one. They have lost a son, a daughter, not a daughter. They have lost an uncle. They have lost a brother. These things are horrific and horrible experiences. And I will say to each and every one of you today that love one another, care for one another, because you never know when your time will be stamped to go. It could happen to any one of us. We were all at this rally and we could have been taken out, but God was watching over us. I'm okay. I think about the actions. I think about sitting there and realizing that I had a white shirt and pants and shoes covered in blood. I think about all that. But I think about the fact that the actions made helped another individual, helped other people stand strong. And I tell you, I thank you guys all for the phone calls. I thank you for the text messages. But I am okay. Pray for the families. Pray for this great country that we have of freedom and prosperity. But do not take that for granted. As we see, taking things for granted, the outcomes can be disastrous. So pray up, stay safe. Thank you, and God bless America.
If you wouldn't mind, Rico's going to hang out so that we can have some private conversations with Rico and among ourselves, but please remain standing. We're going to close in prayer. Yes. Come on. I'm hearing we have one more person. And then, yes. Is that it? Okay. Okay, Ed, I hear you're going to close us in prayer. So it's perfect. Come on, buddy. Yeah. So I'll turn it over to Ed. Do you want them to remain standing or should they sit down? Okay, sit. Yeah.
Hey, first thing I like to do before I talk is I like to just say a short prayer. And I'm going to say, make it quick. I just wanted God to tell me to say what he wants me to say. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity to serve you again, Lord God. I thank you for the privilege to be born in the greatest country on the face of the earth, the United States of America. I ask that you give me the words that you want me to speak to empower these patriots, these people that you have chosen to be here. I ask that in Jesus' name, amen. I want to talk to you about God's timing. I'm going to make it quick, but I want to talk to you about all things in God's time. We, as human beings, every day is an opportunity for us to learn and to grow closer to God and to do the things that he wants us to do. And I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer it right now. Why are you here? Think about that. Why are you here? Last year, I learned a lot about all things in God's time. I had a brother-in-law who was like my brother. I've known him since he was 8 years old. He had a massive stroke, and they didn't think he was going to live. 2 weeks into it, I heard the doctors, they were talking, and they said that he has very little brain activity. I went in and prayed. I asked God, I said, God, if you have a plan for him, keep him here. If not, don't let him suffer and take him now. Well, it ended up that Tom had fallen away from his walk with God. As we live in these spiritual times, and so often it happens, we have splits in church. We have men of God that fall because we are all human and make mistakes. And he walked away. Well, for 6 months, he fought. And he fought, and I was there every day with him. And every day I would go in, I would pray with him. And we grew up together. We played sports together. So I was that one that would make him do his therapy. Okay. And a lot of times when he would introduce me, sometimes he would say he didn't know me. And other times he would say, yeah. And they would say, well, who is he? Brother-in-law. And they would ask, what's his name? And he would say, pain in the ass. So, but he fought and we prayed. And the next thing you know, I told him, I said, you know, God is no different than your own father. And you have children, your children get mad at you and they tell you about it. So you're upset, Tom, talk to God and let him know that you're mad, that why did this happen? And help me to understand and help me to get better if I'm supposed to. Well, then it was every day I would go in the morning and we would take hands and we would pray. And then when I would leave, we would pray. And he got to where he was strong enough to move to a rehab center. All he was doing there was getting strong enough to go home, to walk, to swallow. Well, unfortunately, he fell out of bed twice. The second time he fell on his head and had a massive bleed, and God chose to take him home. But all things in God's time. He found his relationship with God again. He's in heaven. He's walking the streets of glory. He has a new body, and he is with God. Well, then come Thanksgiving. I have an older brother who had stage 4 emphysema. He would not quit smoking. He was trying to live or to raise his grandchildren, and they were teenagers and obviously driving him crazy. So he would not quit smoking. He caught himself on fire. I got a phone call. He's an Allegheny General. I go down, and to make a long story less long, he passed away 4 times from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And all he wanted, his son, he was raising his grandchildren because his son was involved with drugs when he was younger. He got himself straightened out. He got married. He had 2 kids of his own. He tried to take his son and his daughter off of my brother, and they were involved with drugs and Satan worship. They went into his home and took drugs, walked his children out of their homes or their rooms. So he and my brother had a fight and a falling out, and they wouldn't speak. So my brother, all he wanted was his son to be reunited with him. He wanted his grandchildren to have a place to go. And I talked to the son. I found a place for the grandchildren. They came together, and my brother, just the smile on his face when they were all in the room together, was wonderful. And we prayed. He had a relationship with God. December 29th, he passed away. All things are in God's timing. Okay. I am involved in this through prayer. I was never political. In 2020, I was praying, and I just felt like God wanted me to do more. And I got involved. And how many of you were ever involved before 2020? Okay. In politics, actively involved in politics. I was not. I never went to a meeting, and God has led me to become more active. I got very involved with the Trump campaign, and I believe that Donald Trump was chosen by God, just as all of you were chosen for this period in time. You are here because of the Great Awakening, and God chose Donald Trump to step forward and do that. You know, the last thing I want to leave you with, and again, keeping in mind that all things are patterned by God and in His time. It's no coincidence that all these things have happened. Just as Corey is in heaven with God and with Jesus, and realizing that. His family misses him. We miss him. We pray for them. We keep them in prayer. But we trust God and His plan. So this morning, I was in my devotionals, and God gave me a post to put on Facebook. I was sitting there, and I felt like I should pray, and I felt like God said, this is how you should end what you're going to say. So I'm going to read it to you. I hope you receive it, and then I will close.
By the way, anybody needing Rico, he will be having to head out, but if you need his info, feel free to talk to me or I can give you.
Okay. Good morning. If you have never been to a Trump rally, I want you to know this flag has never before been in this shape. I believe it was in the shape of an angel. I also believe that only by the grace of God, Donald Trump is still here. I believe God chose Donald Trump to bring forth a great awakening. Is he a perfect man? Of course not. Throughout the Bible, God has chosen imperfect people to do his bidding. But what choice does God have? Jesus isn't here. Not one person has ever walked this earth who has not made mistakes. With that being said, it is important to understand where our society, our country, and our world are at this time in history. I believe we are truly living in biblical times, and God is watching. We are in a spiritual battle which will determine whether we see a great revival of biblical principles or we will see the rapture, the great reset, the establishment of the new world order, and the rise of the Antichrist. So where do we go from here? We have to remember, as we continue to fight for the soul of America, that there is no room for hate. Whether you consider yourself a Democrat, an independent, or a Republican, if you believe in God, family, and country, you are a conservative. We as conservative America must move forward with righteous activism. We must stand steadfast in prayer, steadfast in constructive activism, put on the whole armor of God with unwavering resolve, and God will bless our efforts. How did we get to this point? The United States of America has been under attack since its beginnings because of the freedom it offers to we the people. We have been under attack by the socialist, communist, Marxist philosophy for many years, coordinated by a select few with the intent of destroying the United States. They have attempted to accomplish this through controlling health care, increasing the poverty level, increasing debt to an unsustainable level, gun control, development of the welfare state, controlling education and removing the belief of God from government and schools, and cultivating hate through class warfare. I believe there is a need for social programs, but do not believe in a social form of government. How do we proceed? We have to peacefully go to the people. We need to organize prayer rallies at our county seats to pray for America, our elected officials, and our world. We must be sharers of information about the socialist agenda. We must go to the everyday people who have become so discouraged with our elections that they just don't care anymore. We must encourage them to vote and vote conservatively. We have to encourage all conservatives to become constructively involved, to contact our neighbors and others within their local community to get involved. Lastly, we must again have civility and respect for one another. We cannot succumb to evil. Just as Jesus said in Matthew 12:25, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. May God bless and protect President Trump. May God bless and protect our elected officials. May God continue to bless America, and may God bless all of you.
Fight, fight, fight.
Thank you all again for attending. Please feel free and mingle, socialize. I'm going to be getting stuff taken down. Thank you all for showing up. Please come again to our meetups. So check this. What?